Today, I've been thinking, not just today, actually quite a bit over recent times, the shadow of like performance, of, fitting in, especially when we think of our own creations and maybe being somebody that wants to provide something to help other people or product or art, whatever it is. And this shadow of performance where we feel we have to put something out that people will buy, like to curate it in a very specific way that people will buy it. And I mean, yes, of course there's an aspect to want, like, providing something that people need and providing something that's valuable, etc. But we very quickly can go into this place of performance where we look at what other people do and then, well, let's just offer something like other people do because people buy it from them. And then we're just becoming like this other thing, and it's a performance because it's not really you necessarily. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not fully you. So it's like we're all, when you're like, well, when we're all offering the same thing, kind of like, maybe in your own way, but still. What I've been really reflecting on is, what do I create that I know is based on me, on my authenticity, that comes from my heart, that I want to provide, that helps people, and that I'm offering because it actually includes my strength. And trusting that even if it maybe looks different than what everybody else is creating, that actually makes it stand out because I can offer it and provide it from a place of tuned in, like being fully tuned into it, where it will not burn me out. Because when I think of the shadow of performance in that sense, when I think of it, often comes from a place of requiring some sort of validation, right? We want to provide something that feels safe. Because if I provide this, it's safe because other people provide the same thing. It's about our own validation. But it can actually burn us out because we then show up because this is how we're expected to show up, potentially. And it's very, common that obviously if we want to provide something that feels more true to us, that there can fears can arise. Worries can arise, etc. And that's why when I think the shadow of performance, it's kind of like really looking into, like, why are we wanting to offer what we offer this way, or why are we putting it out this way? Is it really us? Will it fulfill us? Or are we trying to recreate something from a place of safety, which is not wrong. So it's another thing to look into, right? It's like, is this because of I don't trust that I'm safe and that this will work out or whatever? Like, am I not willing to take a risk? There's so many layers to that. And I had this beautiful conversation quite a couple months ago, can't remember, with a friend, where we kind of talked about, how people put each other on platforms or on a pedestal, in a way. And it's like, that's where we lose our authenticity, because we're now looking up to somebody and think we have to do the same thing. Because certain people are put on pedestals, we think that's the ideal version, and we don't actually see what's also happening behind. Like, is it really authentic, or is it just another performance? I'm not sure if this actually ties into this, but in my opinion, the truth is we're really moving away from that. We're really moving away from putting people on pedestals. And I think some people may actually wake up, because going back to like the shadow of performance, it when we put people on pedestals, or we create because we see other people that do the same thing and they present themselves the same way, and then there's other people putting them on pedestals, or yeah, that what works, everything becomes the same. It's all the same. Everybody has the same tools, the same approaches, the same, it's all just the same. And there's this oversaturated market of everything is being the same. And of course, there are obviously the same services, same modalities, same techniques, yet you can still have your very individual nuance to those things. And I had this beautiful conversation with a friend that, you know, as the planets are moving, Neptune is is moving into Aries, and Saturn in Aries, etc., that the rose-colored glasses are going to come off. That people are going to see more of the truth, and also recognize for themselves how important it is to be authentic and individual, and actually gain the confidence to live by that. Because if we're talking about authenticity, living from your heart and all that, it does require that you're going to put out what feels true to you without thinking of what you have to put out. Aligning with your own self that way, because it's what really is going to make you happier in the long run. So I don't know, I just reflected on the shadow of performance, and I wonder maybe how that looks for you. Do you notice that for yourself? And to add something else to all that, as an Aquarius myself, Aquarius sun, this has always been something that's been very present for me, like wanting to be authentic, wanting truth, not accepting people being put on pedestals, even including myself. I've always wanted to see the true version of people. And of course, you know, it's like we're all like, it's called a shadow. We're in and out. Have I been guilty of performing? Sure, 100%. And I'm really at this point where I'm really dedicated to coming back to like, am I creating from fear, or am I creating from my soul? And I've really been dedicated to not give in to my fear of survival. So I'm not just putting things out from that place. Because it keeps us stuck in this place that just, something's always going to be off. And here's the thing, once you start a performance, what's going to happen when you really have to take that mask off? Because it's just not you. If you perform too much, are you going to keep that performance going? But really it more comes at looking at like, where do we live our life from? And how can we be true to ourselves? And then again, also just seeing the shift with people, just mentioning the astrology earlier about, you know, the rose-colored glasses are coming off. People want more truth, because people don't want, like, people want to relate to humans, not a curated version or a guru in that sense. In my opinion, there's just really more and more people waking up to that there is a lot of performance, that they can start see it clearer, and also that they just see how they may have been putting people on pedestals mistakenly, because we're all human beings. And if you notice that you put somebody on a pedestal, look at why. Do they have something you want to have? Do they present something that you want to be? Are you jealous? Are you this? That's all okay. Those are all shadows that we can work with. That's human. That's normal. But really learning that when we create from our truth, from our soul, that's when we reach the people that really need us. And all the things I'm sharing here are things that I have experienced for myself, that I have maybe done myself. So I'm not speaking from a place of like, I never put anybody on this pedestal. Sure, done it. Do it sometimes. Right? And then I catch myself. I'm like, oh, wait, what? I have found myself being like, oh, I want to be validated or acknowledged by these people because that means I'm worthy. That means my offering is worthy. Whatever it is, we all do that. The work behind this is to always to keep coming back. Where does this come from? What is underneath that? For me, I want to learn from people that are truthful. And I want to be as truthful as I can. And I know I'm not going to be perfect. But I want to stay in my truth. I feel I'm just going to keep going. There's so much I have to say to this. But also allow yourself to discover your own truth as you're creating. And always reevaluate when you have ideas, when you want to create something, where does it come from? And you know, you are growing. And as you're growing, you're learning new skills and new tasks. And it's actually okay to try something out and then be like, that did not feel like me. I don't like that. Or you can be like, wow, this really resonates with me. I want to add this to whatever I'm bringing, wherever it is. And that's okay too. Allow yourself to discover your own truth as you're creating. Keep coming back to you and what feels right to you, not what you think is what people want because that's what they're used to. They want you.